In a world of escalating geopolitical tensions and increasingly sophisticated threats, the strength and unity of the North American defense partnership have never been more critical. At the heart of this alliance lies the shared responsibility of protecting our continent, a mission for which the United States has developed the world's most advanced aerial defense platform, the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. For Canada, a nation whose security is inextricably linked with that of the United States, the decision to acquire a fleet of 88 F-35s represents a landmark commitment to modernizing its armed forces and solidifying its role as a premier American ally. However, this vital modernization program has encountered significant internal challenges within the Canadian government, casting a shadow of uncertainty over a procurement that is essential for the future of North American security. A recent report from Canada's own Auditor General, Karen Hogan, has revealed that Ottawa's internal cost projections for the F-35 program have surged to $27.7 billion, a figure nearly 50% higher than the $19 billion estimate presented to the Canadian public just 2 years ago. This substantial increase, driven by global inflation, fluctuating currency exchange rates, and a worldwide surge in demand for advanced munitions, has unfortunately been seized upon by critics to question the program's viability and even suggest a pivot towards less capable, European-made aircraft. This debate, however, fundamentally misdiagnoses the issue. The challenge is not with the F-35, a platform chosen by the world's most powerful militaries for its unparalleled capabilities, but rather with the Canadian Department of National Defence's internal financial oversight and project management. The Auditor General's report is a stark indictment of Ottawa's bureaucratic process, not the American technology it seeks to acquire. Hogan's findings pointedly note that the Department of National Defense failed to adequately monitor the very economic factors it knew could impact the budget. The Department of National Defense should have closely monitored inflation and exchange rates due to their potential impact, but it did not always do so, the report states, highlighting a lapse in Canadian fiscal diligence. These cost overruns are further compounded by significant domestic delays in preparing the necessary infrastructure, such as the new squadron bases in Cold Lake, Alberta, and Bagotville, Quebec, which are now more than 3 years behind schedule. Additionally, Canada faces a looming shortage of trained pilots, a domestic issue that threatens the country's ability to effectively leverage any modern fighter jet, regardless of its origin. These are Canadian challenges that require Canadian solutions, and they should not be conflated with the strategic necessity of acquiring the F-35. To even consider alternatives at this stage would be a profound strategic error, a step backward into obsolescence. The F-35 Lightning II is not merely another fighter jet, it is a quantum leap in military technology. As a fifth-generation stealth multirole fighter, it represents the absolute pinnacle of aerial dominance. Its advanced stealth capabilities allow it to operate undetected in the most heavily defended enemy airspace, a critical advantage that fourth-generation aircraft simply cannot match. This is not a luxury but a necessity when facing the advanced air defense systems and emerging stealth fighters being rapidly developed and deployed by strategic competitors like Russia and China. The jet's AN/APG-81 active electronically scanned array AESA radar, combined with its revolutionary sensor fusion, provides the pilot with a godlike view of the battlefield, integrating data from a multitude of sources into a single, coherent picture. This unmatched situational awareness is a force multiplier, enabling not just the F-35, but all friendly assets in a joint operation to fight more effectively. For Canada, whose vast and increasingly contested Arctic territory is a frontline in this new era of great power competition, the F-35's capabilities are indispensable. Russian and Chinese military activities in the high north are no longer a distant threat but a present reality. The defense of this sovereign territory, and the broader mission of the North American Aerospace Defense Command NORAD, demands a platform that can see first, shoot first, and survive. The F-35 is the only aircraft in production today that can credibly counter advanced threats like Russia's Su-57 or China's J-20. To equip the Royal Canadian Air Force with anything less would be to knowingly accept a technological disadvantage on our own continent. The very notion of exploring European alternatives like the Saab Gripen or the Dassault Rafale is a dangerous flirtation with a false economy. While these fourth-generation plus jets may appear cheaper on paper, this view is dangerously myopic. They lack the defining feature of modern air combat, true, all-aspect stealth. In a confrontation with a peer adversary, these aircraft would be vulnerable, placing Canadian pilots at unacceptable risk and limiting their operational effectiveness. The idea that their lower acquisition cost represents a bargain is an illusion. You get what you pay for, and in the realm of national defense, second best is not an option. Furthermore, turning away from the F-35 would mean isolating Canada from the vast, integrated network of its most crucial allies. The United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Norway, and a growing coalition of NATO partners are building their future air power around the F-35. Its seamless interoperability is the bedrock of modern coalition warfare, allowing for shared data, tactics, and logistics that are impossible to replicate with a disparate fleet of aircraft. For Canada to opt out of this ecosystem would be to weaken not only its own military but the collective defense of the entire Western alliance. The choice of a fighter jet is a statement of strategic intent that will define a nation's defense posture for decades. Canada's long and sometimes fraught history with military procurement, from the debates surrounding the CF-18 in the 1980s to the years of indecision on the F-35 in the 2000s, should serve as a lesson. Hesitation and political wavering in the face of a clear strategic imperative only lead to higher costs and increased vulnerability. The current challenges of cost overruns and logistical delays are real, but they are managerial hurdles to be overcome, not fundamental flaws in the strategic choice. The solution is for Ottawa to get its house in order, streamline its processes, and fully commit to the program that its own military experts have identified as the only viable option for the future. The F-35 is more than an aircraft, it is an investment in the enduring strength of the US-Canada alliance, a commitment to the defense of North America, and a necessary tool for Canada to uphold its responsibilities on a turbulent world stage. In this challenging global landscape, the path to security lies in strength and partnership, a path that leads directly to the F-35.